It all comes down to this, everyone. It is our last round of day one, round 9 of Swiss. It's been a long day, hard-fought day. Had a little bit of a hiccup there at the end, which is why we had to delay this. So I think everyone's a little bit tired, but I'm ready. I'm ready to see this last game, and we've got a friend of the stream on. Maybe enemy of the stream, some might say. Limbo coming on here, playing not Arisana, his tried and tested. He's playing Water Ally Ciel.
Yeah.
So, you know, not Umbra, as far as I know, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got going on. But with no sleeves, unfortunately.
Without his very special Limbo sleeves. I'm sure you can find out what they look like if you want. But right now, we are going to be heading into the stream match for Swiss Round 9 very, very shortly. Of course, a lot of players have already locked their invites into day 2. And it looks like we're getting Wind Nico allies again versus the Limbo's Water Ciel allies. So I believe we saw the Wind Nico allies on stream a little bit earlier today already. So
yeah, the wind water Nico that never actually went to Nico.
Yeah, it is level 0 ally gaming, and then maybe we'll see him materialize Nico this game.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. Actually, okay, CL. Yeah, maybe. I think that is Relay for Snow White, which is usually for level 3 decks. Also helps you against Fire Diao, because you can bring on Mage Bane Lash. So against this deck, I'm not sure. Maybe this is another fire or water wind Nico that doesn't actually go to Nico.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one thing you can do is you can still lock the champion, so prevent them from attacking, and then...
Okay,
I
sorry.
See. We're on the wrong side. So Limbo is actually on Water Nico, not on Water Ciel. And we're going to actually see him play against Wind Tristan. So this is a matchup from a couple of sets back, actually. It's not something we're seeing a lot nowadays.
Yeah, it's a weird matchup just because it's hard for Nico to actually try and end the game because of the shadows. But at the same time, Nico is very capable of just killing them. She can just get enough lash counters. It's like, okay, I just swing on the shadows, kill them over time. And it's very hard for Tristan to kill you back. So it's a very skillful matchup, a very difficult matchup on both sides. So looking forward to seeing how both players trying to navigate this complicated situation.
Of course, and personally, Nico enjoyer myself, I was playing a lot of Nico in the seasons where it was pretty good still, both the Tonorus as well as the Sylvie variations. So I'm curious to see if Limbo is playing a level 1 or even a level 2 version of Nico, and how much it will rely on that Ravishing Finale. You mentioned earlier that the shadows will be the main thing that is stopping Nico from going in for that lethal. Maybe you can tell the viewers at home who may not be so familiar with how Ominous Shadow as well as Tristan Shadow Dancer works, how it goes.
So Tristan Shadow Dancer has an effect where she can basically spend 2 prep counters to redirect an attack to one of her shadows. So it's very hard for attack-based decks to get through her, because as long as she is able to keep generating more prep counters, even if she just keeps boots on field or resolves a mastermind scheme maybe, it's very easy for her to just have basically infinite fodder. And the thing about Tristan is that she doesn't actually... there's no one-split turn on that. She can just keep doing it over and over and over again. The problem is if you have no shadows, you have nothing to redirect to. So usually the way Nico's win that matchup is to just, okay, I'm just going to kill the shadows.
Yeah, and in order to kill the shadow, you would need to do 7 damage at minimum, because they do have an effect which prevents up to 3 damage on the first, like every instance of damage. And that means with the 4 life total, you will need to hit for at least 7. Nico, with the Mage Bane Lash, can actually hit that pretty, I guess, not as easily anymore. Now that Lost in Thought is banned, it may be a little bit more difficult. So
yeah,
we're looking at win and in games for on stream, of course. And as you guys know, 18 points is the minimum that you need in order to make it to day 2 and get that very coveted Ghost of Pendragon CPR.
Yeah, and of course, you stay alive to maybe hope within those 5 rounds, you're able to crawl your way into top 8. It's pretty hard just because you basically have to win every game or close to every game. No losses allowed, I think, in day 2 if you're starting from the bottom already. So both players here really need to try and scratch out this last win of the day if they want to have another shot at getting into that top 8. But, you know, a Pendragon is pretty good in itself.
I agree. And, of course, actually, Ascents are really difficult because they are long, like, tournaments. But some people argue that actually a store championship is even more difficult because you cannot afford to lose a single game. And that's kind of the position that you're in if you're heading into day 2 with a score of just 18 points only. So that might be a good motivator as well. heading into it and just going every game. There's no alternative. It's just win or go home.
Yeah, that's right. So okay, so this is a Ciel into Nico, to be specific. This isn't like Tenoris Nico or Sylvie Nico. This is Ciel into Nico. So I'm gonna have to take a read on the serve out possessions to make sure it's not class bonus. One of the things is back in the day when we were playing Kong Ming into Merlin. It's like, oh, the moving of the winds in the end phase is actually a class bonus. So you basically have to stick it on one side and just stay on that for the whole game once you've leveled up. So
I hear that. Maybe it wouldn't matter if it's a class bonus, but if it's like a Ciel bonus, then that would be a difficult thing. Because, of course, Ciel is a Guardian, so is Nico, so they would be able to share that same class. And that's why some of those really key new Guardian cards, the ones like, what's his name, the 3/4 that comes in hindered?
Seneschal.
Yeah, he would
Okay,
be
so
pretty
I'm
good.
confirming here, and I have found, yeah, so it is Ciel bonus to get the plus whenever your champion attacks something on the amount of omens. This entire effect is ACL bonus.
I see.
So I wonder if the idea is you build it up early and then you just go Nico to try and go. Oh, actually, no, yeah. This isn't. Oh, this is actually Nico level 1. Sorry, I actually misread that. So this is Nico level 1. I've been seeing people messing around with this, where you play 2 Guardians. So either like Tenoris plus Nico or Ciel plus Nico, just for versatility's sake. A lot of times you want Ciel for the grind game, but Nico lets you get access to the Nico bonus. The Nico bonus Regalia, basically Mage Main Lash.
Mage Main Lash.
Yeah.
We are going to see the Seneschal immediately plays down. 3/4 ally, really good. And hindered, usually not the best, but turn 1, your opponent doesn't have a spirit, you can't attack anyway. Silvercrowx responds with a Black Market Broker, not able to get rid of this Seneschal. And without any stealth, this Black Market Broker is probably soon to be heading to the graveyard. So Limbo materializes his backup charger here, is going to draw into memory, get his Paracel out, and then we're probably going to see him swing into this Black Market Broker.
Yeah, I wonder if there's maybe like a Zephyr or a Reclaim that could be used here to save this Black Market Broker.
So it is going to be that attack, and like you said, there is a Reclaim.
Oh no, is there a response? Frostbind could be big here. Would also deny the float as well. Yeah, that's pretty disastrous, I'm not gonna lie.
It's going to be huge. Banished, Reclaim means no float, and the Black Market Broker goes down. And there's the second Seneschal!
Oh my god, this is a terrible spot to be in, especially next turn once these 2 Seneschals wake up. It's like you have double taunt on field, 3/4 allies. You have your budget Frostborn Paladin right here. He's, in some ways, he's even better than Frostborn. Taunt is, in many ways, better than actually having, especially because when you have 2 allies with taunt, you swing into one of them, retaliate, suddenly he loses taunt. Now you have to swing into the other ally with taunt. Very, very hard to deal with.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for Silvercrowx to come back from this position. Of course, there are options for board wipes like Ensnaring Fumes in the Tristan deck, and I do see he has Ascent Protector as well, so he can contest board at least. He has the Wind Blast Outlook here and can go into the Ascent now to at least try and trade one of the Seneschals, and I don't believe Limbo has a reaction for this one. So we're going to see at least one of those Seneschals go down. However, Limbo can trade into this Ascent really easily. Silvercrowx only has that 1 card in hand, and we know it is the Wind Blast Lookout. There's not going to be a reaction here from Silvercrowx. So let's see if Limbo has a 1 damage ally to help him clear this Ascent Protector.
Most assuredly, there should be one. This is a Water Allies list in its core. If there's any consolation for Silvercrowx, we have 2 prep counters already. We've got the prep gen it's chugging along pretty well. Now we Lily. This is another card I absolutely love. Lily. She is a unique ally that she has a very odd effect. On attack, if she's attacking something with an even life stat, she gets +1 and she can return a card from memory and back to her hand. So this is it's a unique ally which turns on Draying, but it's also Castling Boon is a card we actually saw in the hand. Yeah, I think this game is quickly getting out of hand. We have Castling Boon in the hand, and we have the Trapper as well. So nothing here is dying. I think a Dream Fairy is basically the only way you're going to be able to chip away at any of this board.
I agree. And would you say Lily is actually more of a even champion, since very specifically you have to attack into an even life ally in order to get that additional 1 hand back?
Actually, not even life ally, it's even life unit, which means if you attack a champion who has 20 life or 22, so Tristan 2, it would work. Tristan 1 doesn't work, so it's usually against like, actually Seiryu it works, funnily enough, 12.
Yeah, 12?
Also works against Hasties and Omo, losing the Gunjakai, that's not good.
Well, we are still going up to Tristan 1 now with 3 prep counters, so just 1 more prep counter will allow Silvercrowx to draw 2 on that level 2, and manages to find a Dream Fairy which can help him stem a little bit of this bleeding, get rid of that Seneschal probably in order to like stop taking 3 damage every turn. He also does have a dungeon guide available in now put into memory, so we'll be able to use that to go up to level 3 in the following turns.
Yeah, one thing though is that this deck actually has a pretty good out to the Dream Fairy with the Zhuang. Zhuang does have True Sight if you have the unique ally in field, and guess what? We have the unique ally. Lily really played in this deck basically because she's a unique human ally. Perfectly turns on the Zhuang, and she just, sometimes she comes up. She could actually hit the Dream Fairy here for 2 if she maybe like there's an exposed darkness. I don't know if that's in the main. It's in the
It's in the
side.
side, yeah.
Typically a sideboard card.
But still could be really good. I think Lily, I've heard conversation about Lily a couple of times. Basically, it's like if your opponent has 2 health ally, then she's basically 3 costs and 1/4, which is pretty good stat line. But other than that, it's also later on, if you get to continue using Lily's effect, it becomes really, really good. Other than that, a lot of champions are on that even life total. Any of the Guardian champions, and most of the Warrior champions, I think. Does it count Berserker's Blade when it comes to
It uses the printed life stat. So even if you have a increased life from somewhere, it would be using the printed life stat. So that's why it works against all the Warriors, it works against all the Guardians. Doesn't work against everyone else, but a lot of times that's enough. And honestly, even without the effect, she's a 1/4. 4, if 3 is the premier stat line, 4 is like really hard to get rid of. There's very few decks that can like reliably do 4 damage with just like one thing. Like Paladins, Ascents, that's just 3. A lot of times it's not enough.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We're going to see just a full hand pass from Limbo here. He doesn't even need to keep the Hazi Trapper active, so he's just going to turn it sideways. I'm assuming he has at least a couple of reactions in hand. I do see a Storm of Thorns at the bare minimum.
We do know about the Castling Boon as well. So Castling Boon is a really big one because it is a non-class bonus float that essentially is like a mega favorable wins, I guess. It's with Lily on field. Normally it's just favorable wins, but with Lily on field, it actually gives you 3 life, which is impossible to get around,
That
basically.
is crazy. And
Oh,
it
whiffs
all
on the
allies.
Fairy Whispers. Oh no. Yeah, this is looking pretty terrible for Silvercrowx.
He is definitely not going to be happy to see that. Does have to even go for the Wind Walker boots here in order to try and get that 4th prep counter. No Surveyor to Wind Sadie or anything like that either. Was able to at least get that Wind Blast Lookout earlier. So maybe he could have materialized something else and just played Wind Blast Lookout this turn instead. But just goes for the boots, trying to get some more prep generation out. And we'll see how he decides to go up to level 2 from here. Limbo, on the other hand, is going to use his Portentous Tangu, which he materialized last turn. Didn't have any hand to do it pre-rec, but it's going to do it on Silvercrow's end step instead.
So the big thing here, are we going to go for Tenoris or are we going to go for Nico? I think in this matchup, you probably just go for Tenoris, or for Ciel, sorry. Sorry, my teammate plays this deck, except he plays Tenoris and Nico, so I'm mixing them up. But yeah, so Ciel here is the better choice because it gives you a better end game, because Nico doesn't really give you anything outside of the on-enter effect, which is very unreliable, but also to Mage Bane Lash, which has no utility in this matchup. You actually can't gain like the Lash counters and everything as well as easily, because we're not on Nico level 2. So gotta look for a way to get rid of this Dream Fairy so we can turn on all the Seneschals. Actually, I see a Freezing Hail in hand, so we could Freezing Hail Dream Fairy, get rid of her. And I think we had 3 Seneschals if I was looking at it correctly. I think, well, one's dead and one's banished. So now there's only 1 Seneschal left, but just funny that we drew all of them at the same time.
It's always great to have more of those 3-4 allies. You always want to have such a, pretty good attacking bonus. On the point about the Mage Bane Lash, it is going to be just a 1/4 weapon because on enter you do get the Lash counter still. It is class bonus, not Nico bonus. And I believe you will still be able to use your Servile Possessions additional attack. So you get a 4 durability weapon and it stacks with that.
You can use the Mage Bane Lash with... Then the question is how we're getting to 7, because with Servile Possessions giving you up to 3, and then with a Mage Bane you can only get up to 4. If you have Bulwark Sword, then you can hit up to 6, but that's still not enough to actually kill the shadows. So might have to just try and go for the Starve Them of Prep route instead.
Yeah, I don't think there is a Staggering Strike in the main deck. There is 3 in the sideboard, so that's probably going to come in for games 2 and 3. But I wonder if Limbo can take game 1 here. He is, of course, we both know he's off to a really good start, but all of that hasn't really converted into a lot of damage. Silvercrowx is only at 3 damage counters right now, so still pretty far away.
Yeah, but not really drawing too much action. We have Mastermind plus Shadow Strike, and that's a lot. we do know that Limbo has that Song of Frost that he has been, displaying to us as he's been shuffling through his hand. So no Incapacitate to stop that. So big threat. I think it's very hard to commit to a Shadow Strike against a water deck if you don't have an Incapacitate to stop the potential Song of Frost. It could just like end the game right there on the spot.
For sure, but I think Silvercrowx has a lot of time to try and draw into it. He just found a Surveil the Winds, so we'll be able to use that, level up very selectively. He gets to put exactly 2 cards into his memory, and we're going to see Limbo go for the Balrog Sword here and start hitting in for more damage. He has another Seneschal on the board now, and also put another Seneschal into his Omens.
We just drew Nia for a turn. That's really terrible. Snow White is also a disaster. So Snow White gonna target the Tristan. Probably gonna get stifled.
It is.
But what we can do here is we could maybe use the Castling Boon to keep her alive, but it doesn't really make a difference because Tristan will still not get rested.
That's true. I think the Stifling Trap here is going to be pretty huge for Silvercrowx. Of course, he would have loved to use just the Stifling Trap to kill something else, or the Surveil the Wind to level up instead, because he would be able to draw a card and also get a preparation counter. But instead, is forced to use the Stifling Trap here. And if Limbo uses the Nia here and calls Tristan level 2, Silvercrowx might be in trouble if he didn't keep the Surveil the Winds in hand. But it looks like he did, so he will still be able to go up to level 2, even though he'll have to pay an additional card.
It still feels really terrible to have to pay 3 to go up to level 2, though, especially with how much pressure, and especially you also played the Stifling Trap here just to get to this point, so you're going to be very low on cards, and that's the kind of situation that this Water Ciel deck really wants you to be in, just like really low on cards, can't really do that much, especially with all the negates in the deck. So we're going to call, I imagine that's just in level 2 most assuredly.
Yeah, and we don't have another Stifling Trap to use on this Nia. I mean, we had one in memory, but I don't think you want to go down to prep in order to use this. We are going to see Snow White taken back into the Omens again, so maybe like the... Yep, we are going to see maybe the Manjong come in order to get back the Snow White, but actually that is not going to be in the main deck. It is a side deck card instead, so not going to happen this game. But I think Silvercrowx does still have to play around it. He doesn't know Limbo's deck list yet. Of course, today deck lists are not open yet.
Yeah, so these Omens, there's like no real Omen synergy. It's literally just Omen for the Servile possessions. Nothing like nothing that actually like recurs Omens, and also nothing that benefits from Omens. Like some of these decks might be playing something like the Grand Archive, which is the sword that if you have 2 allies gets +1, so it becomes a 0-cost 2/2 sword. But in this situation, Bulwark Sword is good enough. I think Bulwark being 3 damage is it's a big difference, and also the fact that you can play it earlier on without needing the Omens, especially because I think Water Allies is the kind of deck where a lot of times it doesn't even really level up until like much later.
Yeah, especially now that Scepter of Lumina is a lot less, I guess, popular because it's a lot less powerful. It hasn't gotten as much value anymore when you're playing this Water Allies deck. So we are going to see that Surveil the Winds into paying 3 for the Tristan level 2.
So the big thing here is we have Shadow Strike already. So if we level up, if we have enough cards here, so currently only, what, 4 influence?
4 + 2, 2 cards in hand, then 4 down in memory.
Oh,
so he'll draw 2 to 6. Oh, he hit the Shadow Strike anyway? Well...
Yeah, okay. I was going to say maybe there's a world where you can Dungeon Guide to 3 and then just Shadow Strike right here, but unfortunately lost the Shadow Strike.
We are getting a lot of prep though, and I believe we still have the Mastermind scheme, maybe.
That is true. So that means we are going to have a lot of redirect fodder here to go through. So if there's any world where Silvercrowx is able to grind out this game, it's that kind of situation where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna keep redirecting. Like I'm gonna sit here and wait till I find either another Shadow Strike or maybe a slice and dice to try and go for it. Especially against Water, it's like you can never really commit until you draw that Incapacitate.
Yeah, and I think if he's going to Mastermind scheme, now is probably the best time. Limbo is tapped out. He will have to crack his Windwalker boots in order to do it, but I think it's probably worth it to go up 8 prep counters as well as get that agility 3.
That's true here. Sadie and Crystallized Destiny also going to help with more defense, but it's just like we need to start doing damage at some point. Could bring out the Claw here and also start swinging at some of these allies. Try and clear the board, because every turn you're going to be taking, what, 3, 4, 5 damage every single turn. If it adds up, and you really don't want to have to redirect the small hits as well.
For sure, and there is the Shadow's Claw, like you mentioned. We're going to see which target he goes for with the Tristan. However, the Kohazi Trapper is on board, and if Tristan doesn't do attack damage, the Shadows can't attack either. So Limbo keeping the Kohazi Trapper active on the correct turn. The previous turn he just turned it sideways. This turn he knew to keep it active in order to prevent his allies from getting removed.
Just gonna swing one at Ciel here. Then you got 3 life, so we're not gonna get the Lily effect, unfortunately. We're actually swinging 2 face, and it seems like Limbo's actually just gonna take it.
Yeah, I think with the allies deck, you are focused more on protecting your allies than your face. So it makes sense that Limbo just says, okay, yeah, no problem. I'll take damage up to 10. I have this taunt that I can use to protect myself later anyway, so I'm not super worried about it. He does go for the Tariff Ring here and is going to go back to his turn. Can do quite a bit of damage this turn with all of the allies that he has on the board, plus the Omens. Now, one of the other reasons that I think Mastermind Scheme was good last turn is because if he didn't do it then, and this turn he has to redirect, he's going to lose a lot of prep.
Yeah, so here, I mean, let's just do some math. This is 1 damage, 3 damage, 1 damage. Like, we could play the Trapper if we want to, and then we can swing with the Bulwark for 4 with the Serval Possessions. So it's looking more and more dire as we go, but at the same time, Limbo's only at 10, or he's already at 10 damage taken. It's not that far away. Like, a single Shadow Strike or a single Slice and Dice, even if it's without the Assassin Trapper, would be enough to get there maybe, but if it weren't for that Song of Frost.
Yeah, and of course, no Incapacitate seen yet for Silvercrowx, but that also means that we're more likely to see one coming up pretty soon. We saw him turn all of his allies sideways, except for the Quasi Trapper so far, might also turn himself sideways to swing with that Bowl Sword. We'll see what ends up being the play here. Other than that, one really key card in this matchup is going to be the Fracturize. If he's going to be able to find that and Fracturize that Shadow's Claw, suddenly it's going to be a lot harder to deal more damage with those Ominous Shadows.
So we have the Tariff Ring here, so we have a Tariff, and then we also have a Trapper. So it's like the chances of Silvercrowx being able to go for like a swing with Shadow's Claw into double Shadow Swing turn is pretty bleak. I don't think he'll probably be able to swing this turn with all the... Well, he can swing with some of the allies, but because of the Tariff, low influence, can't really swing with everything. And then next turn we can just Trapper the Tristan. Can't actually get there unless we bring out Assassin Trapper and then swing for 4.
Yeah, and we are going to see the Bulk Sword attack here with Ciel, and with 2 Omens in the Serval Possessions Mastery, we're going to see it come in for an additional 1 damage. Now, one other card that I want to highlight in Limbo's hand now is the Storm of Thorns. This is going to be really crucial if he just, if Silvercrowx just tries to attack for 1 with the Shadow's Claw alone, he will be able to Storm of Thorns, then also prevent that damage, and then not only that, deal 1 additional damage to Tristan, and then also the Ominous Shadows won't be able to attack because the champion didn't hit.
Yeah, exactly. This is why Tristan has always historically been kind of bad into water, right? It's like too much defense, too much interruption. A deck like Tristan, while she's versatile, she's not like she doesn't have that like late game grind that a deck like Luxem or Merlin has. Once she hits level 3, that's kind of her peak. Like the turn right after she hits level 3 or the turn she hits level 3 and after, that's her peak, and then she just slowly starts to peter out over time.
Yeah, we are going to see the Sensor of Restful Peace materialize for Silvercrowx. This is still pretty good because if Limbo uses that Storm of Thorns like we mentioned earlier, it won't have the floating memory anymore. However, Silvercrowx does draw into his Incapacitate now, so maybe we'll be able to see him use that Mastermind Scheme this turn. He can play around Frostbind because he has the Windwalker Boots to allow him to draw an additional card, which will allow him to pay the 2 card tax that he needs to pay.
Mastermind Scheme is going to be the choice here. 6 going to go up to 12. So not quite 8 times 2, but it's still a lot of prep to get through. 12 would be equivalent to 6 redirects.
6 redirects is definitely a lot. And Limbo, aware of the Windwaker Boots, isn't going to be baited into burning a Frostbind on this. So Silvercrowx is going to be able to attack. Actually, Limbo didn't pop the Tariff Ring, so might see that Storm of Thorns that we talked about earlier. And there it is. 1 damage prevented from all sources, and also does 1 damage back to any source of damage. So we're going to see the Shadow's Claw go down on durability 1 more time, and Tristan take 1 damage going up to 15. 10 damage will seal the game 1 in this round 9 of Swiss. Unfortunately, no floating memory for Limbo here. Would have really liked it to be able to materialize something like the Smoke Bombs or the Mage Bane Lash that he still has available.
So in this position, really, your main goal is to just try and force the Tristan to start redirecting, because the less prep counter she has, the more she's the lower her kill threshold is. The problem is that he only has to do 9 damage in order to kill here. So, of course, we have all the defenses, but, you know, not considering those, like a single slice and dice is enough to do here. So as long as you just hold up 3 prep, you always can threaten the slice and dice. With Trapper, though, with Tariff Ring, with Storm of Thorns, all that stuff, that's what makes it very difficult. So once Limbo's able to kind of walk Silvercrowx down to like the range where he has to basically redirect every single attack, that's when the game is basically on lock.
I agree. I think with 12 prep, like you mentioned, 6 redirects is going to be a lot. And here is the Mage Main Lash. Forgetting about the sensor of Restful Peace here, so does have to pay from memory. Is actually choosing against materializing the Mage Main Lash instead. We're seeing if they're going to allow him to take it back because he didn't realize that there was a sensor on the board. If not, then he has to pay for it with the memory instead. We're just going to see how the judge rules on this. However, what is he going to be doing this turn? He is going to still have to materialize the Mage Main Lash.
Oh my god, the Song of Frost, that's the card he really didn't want to lose.
Yeah, it's really painful to see that go. I wonder if he has another one in hand. However, this Mage Main Lash does still give him a Lash counter. Like we mentioned, only gets +1 for each Lash counter and only gains the Nico bonus to recover 2 for non-combat damage if he is on Nico, which is not. And there's no way to generate more additional prep. However, we'll be able to swing without having to pay the tax and also gets the Servile Possession's additional damage here.
Yeah, so this is an unfortunate thing about the Mage Main Lash. It has to really be, like, you have to be Nico because you really don't generate Lash counters unless you're on Nico. So the 1 Lash counter, that's all we really get.
So he is going to turn most of his allies sideways, might be choosing to leave the Seneschal and the Quasi Trapper both active. And I also wanted to highlight an interesting card that we see in Limbo's deck list, which is actually the Sadie. So he has Prep Gen built into his deck. He does turn the Seneschal sideways here, forcing 4 preparation counters out of Silvercrowx from his champion's attack as well as the Seneschal. And he can also use the Kohazi Trapper here to negate some of the damage from Tristan as well as the Shadows. Remember, Tristan only has 1 more durability on this Shadow's Claw, which means we'll have to come and materialize the Assassin's Ripper if he wants to continue doing damage to Limbo from weapon attacks, or he has to use an attack card.
Yeah, so the tough part is really just that, okay, once his claw is gone, what am I doing? Look at his hand. He has a Sadie, and that's it. It's a lot of defensive cards, a lot of reactive cards, and that's not the position you want to be in when you're trying to end the game. You're at low influence. You just have to try and find that last bit of damage. If you can just top deck like a Shadow Strike, that would definitely change the way this game is going to turn out, especially with that Song of Frost unfortunate game. I think I saw another one, though.
Yeah, and I think there's another Storm of Thorns as well. So it really depends whatever Silvercrowx does here. Limbo definitely has an answer. He's still not cracking the Tariff Ring. He has a lot of discipline, understanding I'm not in lethal range yet, so I don't have to burn it right now. And we're going to see Silvercrowx just make a full pass here. He doesn't want to burn his last Shadow Claw durability. He wants to save it for a confirmed lethal maybe. He did already draw into that incapacitate. And I think one key thing for Tristan players is knowing how much you can do, how much influence you need in order to be able to do kill plus incap.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially against water, where now you also have to worry about getting Frostbound at the same time. We're going to have to redirect here. So we're slowly losing all of our prep. And once we hit 0 prep, that's when it's like, okay, I can't win the game anymore.
So Limbo is still getting some chip damage in every turn though. With these 2 1-attack allies, both the Lily and the Nia, they are both at least getting chip in. And Silvercrowx isn't going to redirect those 1 attacks. He is just going to negate just the Seneschal as well as Ciel champions swings so far. Down to only 5 prep counters now. He gets to put another Omen counter on this Storm of Thorns.
So we have hit that critical 5 Omen threshold. Looking at the top card, it's not going to do anything. We really need to find one of our big win cons. I wonder if Limbo is going to pop the Tariff now, especially once 19 life. This is the point where he's going to have to start redirecting more than just the big hits.
Yeah, I think every single hit counts. I guess 3 more turns of 1+1 is going to be lethal, but I don't know if the game is going to last that long. The Assassin's Ripper is materialized here, so we are going to go down another influence, and Silvercrowx is only at 5 total. This is really not what you want to see.
It's a tough spot because if you use the, we can actually use the preparation counter in order to get this Assassin's Ripper to 4, which would get us through the Trapper, but we also have the Storm of Thorns, which would mean that, okay, now you're going to take 1 damage again, go up to 20, and then also your you spend a prep counter in order to use the Assassin Tripper. You're not getting a prep counter from the boots because you attacked, and then your shadows still can't swing.
Yeah, but we did top deck into this mastermind scheme, which means we can play a little bit longer, Limbo. How long do you want to play this game? I'm going up back to 12 prep counters again, and we're back where we started 3 turns ago. You're going to have to keep swinging into me, and you only have 3 more durability on that Mage Bane Lash and that Ball Sword. We're going to see Silvercrowx turn his Dungeon Guide. We are also going to be able to use the Assassin's Ripper to deal some more damage. And of course, he doesn't want to break the Shadow's Claw yet, because if he does, then those Ominous Shadows come in for half the damage they were going to initially.
Gonna spend one of the preps here in order to swing for 4. So we do have to use our Trapper plus and a defensive card, either a Deflecting Edge here or that Storm of Thorns, in order to get this Tristan to not hit, thus making the Shadows unable to attack as well.
Yeah, the Assassin's Ripper only comes in for 3, so the Quasi Trapper is just enough, but this also means that this Trapper is now unlocked. He can start doing 3 damage per turn instead of just 2, and I think Limbo's happy with that.
There's actually a second Trapper in hand, so we can actually do it again.
Let's go, Limbo! We're gonna be happy to see that for sure. He materializes his own Sensor of Restful Peace as well. Now there's 2 on the board. The graveyard is double blocked. We're gonna see how he decides to proceed with this turn. He can swing.
Important card found, Draying here. So far, it's been a bit unfortunate because we keep swinging with these 1 power allies. Now we have a second 3 power ally at least. And also, let's not forget, we're at 5 Omens, which means every single swing now is going to draw us an extra card.
And that's going to be huge for Limbo for sure. I think he will want to play that Draying, help him to reduce the number of prep counters like burnt per turn from 4 previously, now up to 6. And like you said, at this point, if Limbo goes in for all 3 1-attack allies, Silvercrowx at 22. Next turn, all 3 1-attack allies again is lethal for sure.
Yeah, so we could just swing with Mage Bane Lash here if we want to. So we're going to actually play the second Trapper because, like, okay, I'm going to keep holding up all of my defenses, make sure that you can never actually swing with these shadows.
And I want you to peek at Limbo's hand again. He also has a Deflecting Edge. So he is really very safe. He's playing very, very cautiously in order to make sure that he's able to take this game. This matchup is going to be really difficult to deal with, but he's going to use a Stifling Trap on the Korhazi Trapper here. So denies the prep counter. This is going to be really interesting because on one hand, yes, there's no prep counter anymore, but remember, Limbo still has this Terror Ring on board. So with that Terror Ring, he is going to be able to prevent Silvercrowx from using all of his allies to attack. And here's an interesting play here. Lily attacks into the Ominous Shadow. Even life counter gets a card back into his hand, and now swings all of his allies into the Dungeon Guide for 3. Now, Ciel is going to swing with his champion still in order to force another 2 prep counters out of Silvercrowx, and we'll see if this Seneschal turns sideways or not, or just wants to stay active in order to remain as a taunter, and that is going to be the play from Limbo.
Small little efficiency here. Could have actually swung with Ciel first in order to draw the card in the memories, in case maybe the Lily you want to return something else into hand. Like maybe that card, that drawn card could have been another negate, could have been a Song of Frost. So just the small little things you can do, just dig a card deeper. It's very much like oh, I'm going to Windmill Engineer and then play Sadie, because now I get to draw a card in memory, and then when I agility, I actually get to add that card that would have normally just been like locked in my memory until next turn.
Yeah, just a little bit of min-maxing, and every little bit counts for sure, right? I think the last card in the material deck for Silvercrowx here is the Blinding Orb, which could be really useful in order to let him try to prevent any interaction from the side of Limbo. But I think if it does get materialized, we're going to see Limbo pop that Terror Ring. Oh, Slice and Dice.
Dice has been found. Okay, this is big. We don't have Trapper to keep us protected anymore, but the Tariff Ring is big. But Limbo has been very disciplined with it. Seneschal is also awake, so unless there's a way of getting around that. Actually, Limbo's been attacking with this Seneschal every turn, but this is the first time he's decided, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to leave him awake.
And the Terror Ring is still not cracked. Limbo is so patient with this. I think all the years training with Arizona, knowing exactly the lethal thresholds, I think really transfers really well into an ally-based deck as well. You can see he's really controlled with how he does his attacks and swings, and he's just really planning these out really well. I think he does also have a lot of reactions, which is, I think, very familiar for someone that plays a lot of Arizona as well. He has a lot of options available to him. There's a Song of Frost, there's a Storm of Thorns, there's a Deflecting Edge, there's any number of answers that he has. Here's the Slice and Dice.
So we're going to go... So we're using the Assassin Trapper, I assume.
I wonder if Silvercrowx forgot that the Seneschal is active. He's actually just slice and dicing the Seneschal.
And then probably going to send a second hit to face. I mean, okay, this is if this is Assassin Stripper, that means the first one would be doing, the first one's going to be doing 6, and then the next one's going to be doing
6.
It's going to be doing 9.
The
So-
Assassin Stripper only has 1 durability though.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's
yes,
6 into
yes.
6.
No, but yeah, that's actually that's
Or 7 with the Shadow's Claw maybe.
yeah, but then
We lose points on the.
so we do one hit. We do one hit just to kill the Seneschal. We can do one hit for 3 with the claw, and then we throw another one for 9 after. That is enough to get to lethal because the Shadow can just swing. But now we're just gonna play that deflecting edge. We're just gonna stop this whole turn. Actually, are we also stopping? Which I think he might have attacked with. Did he attack with the claw, or was it with the Assassin's Ripper?
He tapped the Assassin's Ripper, so I'm not sure if the first attack has the slice and dice.
Okay, so Seneschal still does go down here, and then the second attack is going to be with.
The slice and dice still, and the shadows
Ooh.
aren't able to turn sideways because the hit target is actually
I actually
not the champion.
I think we actually just sent both swings at the Seneschal. So yeah, that was unfortunate. Like Limbo just had all the answers. He had all these reactive cards, just ways of stopping himself, and then we hold on this taunt, and then we just can't close the game out. Now let's talk a little bit about the sideboard, because I think a card that you might definitely see is not in this Tristan sideboard. There is no Viridian Protective Trinket in here.
Yeah, he has not shown the respect for the water deck. However, he does have Shadow Reaver, which could be interesting. He can steal some of the allies. He can also steal Jue because Tristan does go to level 3. It would be pretty useful to have that 2-cost 3/3 ally. Other than that, there's also a Cry for Help, which can allow you to redirect even if those shadows are removed. I wonder if Limbo is going to side out his Nico level 1 and just get in that Manzome Armoire instead, and also both of these decks interestingly are both playing the Mandate of Honor in their sideboard as well. So I wonder if either of them is going to bring it in, wanting to do a little bit more control.
Yeah, and another big thing is that we also have those 3 staggering strikes. So if this Tristan gets hit by that, the game basically ends on the spot.
Yeah, and not to mention the 4th Kohazi Trapper as well. Kohazi Trapper did a lot of work on Limbo's board, despite not actually working. Like just standing there with that 1 prep counter on Limbo's champion is enough to dissuade a lot of things, and Limbo can also just react with cards from hand instead of using that prem counter as well. We saw him use the Storm of Thorns, the Song of Frost, a lot of options there for sure. The Nia, I think, and the Snow White really burnt a lot of influence from Silvercrowx on that turn. Had to burn 1 for the Stifling Trap, had to burn an extra just to level up. What do you think needs to change in the game plan from Silvercrowx in order to take this game 2 from Limbo?
We gotta deal with the board. The problem is it's just so hard for life. It's, especially for Tristan, very difficult. Usually it's like, oh, Windmill Engineer plus a Sadie. 3, it's like the threshold. 4, very hard. What? Black Market Broker that's stuck around for a turn and then you play Sadie. Much more difficult to achieve. Maybe you could do like Windmill Engineer into Ascent Protector. There are ways of getting there. But none of those work against any defensive cards or a negate to potentially stop. Like if you go Windmill Ascent, then you just get negated. It's like, okay, now what?
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, Silvercrowx is playing some Ensnaring Fumes in his sideboard as well, which could help him when, I guess, it's an emergency button, right? You can just press the button, panic, there's too many allies, everything goes back to hand. Yes, Limbo gets a lot of influence back, but he does have to slowly play those allies back down, especially with the Seneschal. They come in hindered, so they can't attack on the turn they're played.
Unless, of course, we have gotten to the point where we have enough omens that the Seneschal actually just wakes up as part of the on-enter effect. I believe that's 2 omens in order for that to happen. So,
It's actually
3 omens. Yeah. So it does take a while, but you know, if the Senefless do tend to stick around because 4 life.
Yeah, if the game goes long enough, the Seneschal even gets a buff counter on it, becomes a 4/5. Oh my, that would be really, really difficult to get rid of.
You know, like if he's initially Frostborn Paladin at home, and then later he becomes like the better Frostborn Paladin. The Frostborn Paladin they tell you not to worry about.
Yeah, Silvercrowx just saying, hurry up and shuffle. Limbo very frantically trying to get his shuffling done. Will be shuffling up the official Arizona sleeves. Of course, even when he's not playing, Arizona has to rep his girl. So we are going to see him shuffle up Silvercrowx's deck as well, who is going to be going first now that he gets to choose.
Yeah, this is big. Going first, obviously, always a great advantage in this game, especially against a water deck where you can play all your stuff before they actually have a chance of drawing into any negates. We do see the reclaims in here.
And
Sadie, yes. Double Sadie, reclaim, Fairy Whispers. It's actually not an amazing hand just because reclaiming a Sadie doesn't really make much sense. She doesn't generate you influence here. We do have the Ascent at least.
Yeah, there's also a Windmill Engineer that he can use to reclaim later. And if there is a 3 health ally, we are able to clear it with the Windmill Engineer as well as the Sadie. I don't think Silvercrowx is going up to level 1 just yet, but would get the agility to clear one of these. However, just go for a Froststorm Paladin here, forcing the Sadie to return back to hand. So Limbo doesn't need that buff counter, just gonna swing his 2-3, and if you try to clear the Froststorm back, the Kohazi is right there beside it to try and protect.
Yeah, this is the really difficult position you get put in against water allies when they drop that trapper. It's like suddenly I just can't kill anything anymore.
And here's the Grand Crusader's Ring materialized for Silvercrowx. Wants to see a little bit more cards. Can't go for a backup charger or anything like that because he just doesn't have enough hand after having to return that Sadie. But does get that preparation counter. And now going for the Fairy Whispers, glimpsing through his deck a little bit more, finds another Windmill Engineer. So we'll be able to play quite a few net neutral allies and can even go for the Ascent Protector this turn. So we might see him go for something like either double Windmill into Sadie or just Windmill into Ascent. The Ascent won't be able to get rid of this Froststorm because of the Kohazi Trapper, but it would still be a 3-4 ally that would be a bit difficult to remove.
It's also an option to go Windmill, Windmill, and hold on to Reclaim. It is a bit difficult against water. They have negates. Also, there's a Freezing Hail in the hand as well.
I agree. However, I think this is the best window for him to go for that Ascent Protector because Limbo is tapped out. There's no Frostbind or any interaction here. He is just going to force that preparation counter out of the Kohazi Trapper. However, this Ascent is dead in the water. There's already 3 damage on board. Just needs 1 damage from Limbo. An ally or anything like that will do the trick. Here's the Grand Crusader's Ring from Limbo's side. Foil this time a little bit shinier. We'll get to draw an additional card up to 8 influence again. And I see Jie in the hand, but is there a unique
There's
ally
a Lily.
to pair?
There's a Lily, which means you actually get the Lily effect off here because Ascent Protector is an even life stat here.
That's going to be huge. 4 cost becomes 3 cost effectively. Gets a card back into hand from memory. And now going to probably play that Jie to come beside this Lily. There's going to be the Marine Castellan looking very flowy like a dolphin. And we also have a very dangerous horse beside her maybe. Or he could just leave cards up in the hand for interaction. There is a Storm of Thorns. That means anytime Silvercrowx tries to play something like the Windmill Engineer, that's going to be 0 damage, and it's also going to die right away.
Exactly. This is a really difficult situation. I mean, the Sadies as well. If you leave a Sadie on field, you can swing into it with the Lily to get it actually put a card back in. Now you're kind of forced like preemptively Sadie, which is really annoying.
And we are seeing both the Lily being a 1-4 ally is going to be really difficult. And here's the Windmill Engineer's swing. Now I wonder if Limbo is going to wait or he's going to go and Storm of Thorns right now. Here's the Ascent Protector, will allow him to, on the stack, Freezing Hail, goodbye Windmill Engineer, and goodbye Ascent Protector as well. Goes back to hand off his own on enter effect. Has to target himself because there's no valid target anymore. And at least now he has 3 cards in hand again. He can use his backup treasure, play his browser, get his card back into memory, but was forced to play this backup treasure at the start of this turn because just didn't really have a play and didn't have enough cards in hand either to banish it pre-rec.
Silvercrowx has a lot of cards in his influence, but he has no board, and he's also still sitting at level 0, only 15 life. Currently has an extra 4 damage, can swing here. I imagine Limbo is feeling pretty good, but we do have to worry about Tristan having so many cards in hand. It's easy for her to kind of like pop off, especially on a level 1 turn. Maybe you could even consider going Agility to try and take advantage of more actions, especially when you need to try and catch up.
Yeah, however, we are already going to see 5 damage counters on Silvercrowx. That's 1/3 of his total life right now. And we might see the Seneschal, and there's a 3-4 ally already. So here we go. We have 1-3, we have 2-3, now we have 3-4. We're going up on the escalator here, and Limbo is going to be really happy with his current board state. Forcing Silvercrowx to level up, loses another Ascent Protector, so that's going to be even worse for him. He's not going to have a lot of options to contest on board here again. However, let's see what he does manage to do. There is still the Sadie. He can try and use that to contest. But Limbo is still holding cards in hand. He's playing a very classic Water Allies game plan. I play 1 ally, and then later I hold the rest of my cards up to make sure that my allies don't die, and it's going to be death by 1,000 cards.
Exactly. So we're going to play out the Windmill here. Probably going to try and threaten the Frostborn or the Trapper with that Sadie. Wow, another Ascent. How has this guy drawn all of his Ascents?
I mean, 3 Ascent Protectors is a lot of Ascent Protectors. I will admit that. He is going to just go for the Wind Blast Outlook here instead. Glimpse a card as well as get a preparation counter. And this time Silvercrowx is playing around another Freezing Hail. He plays 2 allies before he goes for the Ascent Protector. Because he does still have 5, he can go for the Ascent Protector play. But now he's vulnerable to Frostbind. So there's always going to be something that you have to bet your opponent doesn't have. If he goes for the Ascent here, he gets Frostbinded. I think it's so limbover for him.
Yeah, and so now we're going to swing with the Windmill Engineer. Are we going to throw out... Oh yeah, so we're just going to take the damage.
Does he have it? Here is the on the stack of the attack of the Windmill Engineer. Here's the Storm of Thorns. We're going to negate that 1 damage, force the Windmill Engineer to go straight to the yard. However, this means that there is not going to be a response for the Ascent Protector. We are going to see 1 damage prevented. Most importantly though, this means that none of Limbo's allies are dying this turn. The Ascent Protector comes in for 2. The Wind Blast Outlook only comes in for 0 actually.
Zero.
So no way that any of these allies are gone this turn. And Limbo is going to do another ton of damage this turn. 1, 2, 4, 7 damage this turn.
Yes, and we also found that Snow White not active right now. Oh my god, the
Staggering
Staggering Strike!
Oh no, that's gonna be a lot of prep all gone already, and there is Silvercrow's hopes and dreams also being gone right after. The Seneschal turns in for 3, the Lily goes in for 1, Frostborn Paladin for 2 more, and then Kohazi up for 15 total damage counters onto Silvercrowx. Only 4 more to go. Limbo though still playing super patient, has the Dreading, could definitely just play it down, deal another 3 damage, but is going to make sure that every single ally on this board does not see the graveyard this game.
You said it was Limbover, but it's actually Limbover on the other side. Silvercrowx staring at his hand of a bunch of allies that can't swing because of this tariff. So much protection. Already so low. 0 prep. Can't do anything, basically.
Wait. He's putting the prep counters back. No, you can't do that. That's illegal.
Yeah,
you got
that's
staggering
cheating.
strike. Silvercrowx really not happy about that. I think really wish he could put those 3 prep counters back. Really wants them so that he can go to level 2, at least draw 1 card. With a Surveil, he could even draw a 2nd card. But doesn't have that. Here we're going to go for the Windwalker Boots, try to generate that prep back again. Terrafring is popped immediately. Once again, Limbo says, my allies are not going to die. We are going to stay alive. And we're going to make sure next turn we hit you 4 times and you're the one going to go instead.
I just gotta say, you know, I don't think a single ally has died on Limbo's side. They have just standard Resolute, not the card. And it's looking pretty over. And now the Ascent it's just like the 5th Ascent that's been played this game.
If you count the ones that were like negated or played and then bounced themselves up, I think it's like Ascent number 5.
Unfortunately, because we are leaving the Ascent up, we are now leaving the Lily able to be getting, so we can actually just swing like, we can swing the Paladin into the Ascent and then the Lily, add back something, we can play something, put something down, and then Lily add some stuff back. So I don't think Silvercrow's dead unless maybe we have something like a heavy swing that we could potentially throw out.
Yeah, he does have it in the deck list, but I don't know if that's going to be played right now. Silvercrowx does have Veiling Breeze, so he does have at least some form of defense. He won't be losing the game just yet, or maybe at all if he gets a little bit lucky. I think it was a little bit greedy to not use the Dungeon Guide there just to get that little bit of extra HP, but I think he just really needs that additional prep counter to at least get a little bit of value back. We're going to see him just consider on Limbo's end, we're going to see him start to think like, what is the materialization this turn? He used his Terrafring early this time in order to make sure that his allies stay on the board, and we're going to go straight into the Smoke Bombs. We're going to force Silvercrowx to try and react to this. Dreading is sent to the Glue Factory. We're going to see Smoke Bombs used immediately, sends Ascent into the stealth. I don't know what makes him stealthy. We're going to see Paracel come down, Limbo cracks his backup charger, gets to draw to 3 cards pre-rec because of that Smoke Bombs. But now, Limbo has stealthed the Ascent Protector, and Silvercrowx has Veiling his face. So he's not going to be able to do anything this turn.
Yeah, I can't even clear the board here. Just the unfortunate part about that Stealth Bomb interaction is now the Ascent Protector, unless we drew that Exposed Darkness that he might have chose to side in. The Jueying actually would have been nice as well because it does have True Sight. So actually we have a second Jueying, but it still can't kill the Ascent unless you can somehow give it any additional power. Don't think that's in the cards for this game.
Well, there is other card that he could use, which is this second Quasi Trapper. Does play it down, gets another preparation counter, and suddenly Limbo has the same number of prep counters as Silvercrowx. We're gonna see whether or not Limbo is gonna do anything else this turn. We're gonna see Surveil the wins from Silvercrowx, so he's going to go up to 2 prep counters here, draw a card, and then he keeps the Dungeon Guide in hand. He also top decks the Ensnaring Fuse, which he can use next turn. I'm gonna assume he's gonna go up to level 2 here, paying with memory, and then Dungeon Guide up to 3 to try and stay stabilized.
This is big. The Ensnaring Fumes would get rid of this humongous board, but it would also fill Limbo's hand. He would probably have an influence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 12. That's you'd rarely ever see an ally deck have that many cards. So it's going to be not the hardest thing for him in the world to just like refill the field, especially we still haven't hit Ciel though, so that Seneschal is not going to be getting the buff counter and the on enter wake up yet. But it's definitely looking like there's a world where Silvercrowx is actually able to crawl his way back out of this game.
That's right. He doesn't want to be Silvercrowx this game. He wants to be Goldcrow. He wants to win. Let's see whether he can claw his way back in. He does get to draw off of the 2 prep counters off of the Tristan level 2 on enter, and then we're probably going to see a Dungeon Guide go up to 3. I wonder if he did side in the Shadow Reaver this game, and even if he did, I wonder if that's the correct play. What do you think?
I mean, at this point, is Tristan 2 really doing, or is Tristan 3 doing anything for you at this point? You can't bring out the Claw yet. You're going to bring out Shadows, but then they can't really do anything. You can't really redirect. You don't have any prep counters. So maybe if he did side in Shadow Reaver, now would be the time to bring it out.
Yeah, he does have the 2 Reclaims in hand still, but immediately you're going to put them down in order to go for that Dungeon Guide. I think one thing is that this turn, yes, he can't call out the Shadow's Claw yet, but end of turn, he gets 1 prep counter from the Windwalker Boots, and then he also gets 1 on enter from Shadow Dancer. So we'll have the 4 prep counters next turn, and then next turn he can start turning himself as well as all of the Shadows sideways in order to try and contest on board here. He, I think, has exactly enough to go for an Ensnaring Fumes, but right now it's really bad to Ensnaring Fumes because it will return the Shadows back as well.
Yeah, we return them to the Void because they can't go back to hand. They are tokens, so they would be gone from the game forever. I think maybe, yeah, if we had Shadow Reaver, we could have actually tried to go for maybe like, okay, I'm gonna go up to Shadow Reaver here, and then I'm gonna ensnare you now, and then next turn we can level up into Tristan Shadow Dancer. But seems like probably did not side that in. There are a lot of very useful water cards for you to take. I mean, even a Trapper gives you a prep counter, right?
Yeah, you could use a Trapper for sure. And other than that, I think one important thing is that Quasi Trapper, they were talking about, Limbo was able to use it to prevent his Seneschal from getting removed. In that case, actually, maybe he could have retaliated on the Dungeon Guide in order to try and finish that off as well. Because I think Silvercrowx would have wanted to attack into it anyway. I don't think he would have went for face with the Ascent Protector. But I think it's still good to just be disciplined with all of these. Limbo's board state right now, really, really good. And Silvercrowx only 4 prep counters. So he can only negate or redirect 2 of the attacks. So he does get Ciel 1 on the board right now. We're going to see him, for one, activate that Storm of Thorns that's in his graveyard right now. So next turn, if he wants to materialize the Mage May Lash, he suddenly has a 1/4 weapon. Other than that, he also will start building up the Omen counter, which we were talking about. Just 1 Omen is already going to be an additional attack point. So every single Omen will become more and more valuable as the game goes by. And like we mentioned earlier as well, he is probably going to be on the Manzomi this turn, this game, since he probably sided it in favor of the Nico. So he might be able to take back some of these key cards like that Staggering Strike.
Yeah, but then Ensnaring Fumes comes out now. This is actually free. This is not using prep counter, so we're just using it for 5, which is great for us. It means we get to essentially like refill this. But is there a negate? Oh, he's maybe thinking of Song of Frosting this?
No, he's just going to let it resolve, which means that the Shadows get sent back to the Shadow Realm, and Limbo has like a gajillion influence now. He can play all those allies back again, and not only that, the Quasi Trappers on enter triggers again, so he gets prep counters to protect the board one more time. Not only that, Silvercrowx doesn't have Shadows anymore. I don't know if he's playing something like the Penumbral Wards or anything like that in order to generate more Shadows, but if not, then how is he going to win the game now? He's in such an odd position for a Tristan.
I guess we're in just Shadow Strike him range at this point, but there's another thing here. This Snow White, even though she has not gotten her ability off to actually like get the champion rested and then knocking them out, what now happens is you can't attack anymore, right? This is why Snow White, even against decks like, let's say, Ensoul, even at level 3, they're nice to just stop you from being able to flame sweep, stop you from being able to just attack at all. So now the Tristan is basically completely locked out of the game as long as we can just keep spamming Snow White over and over again.
And here is the staggering strike again! Ooh, down from 4 back to 1 again! Silvercrowx is not gonna like that. His head is in his hands. He doesn't love to see that. And let's see it one more time. Limbo end step. I want to see staggering strike. Put an Omen counter on it. Take it back next turn. Jia comes in now. Swings in for 3 and puts Silvercrowx on lethal the following turn. How is he going to navigate his way out of this now?
Silvercrowx cosplaying as Sisyphus here, climbing up the preparation hill and then falling back down. I don't know how you could come back from getting double staggering strike and Snow Whited all in the same turn.
I'm so sad for Silvercrowx. I think it is Silvercrover right now. He is not happy to see that at all. He does top deck into the Slice and Dice, but where's the prep to use it? He can't even materialize the Assassin's Reaper or anything like that. He has a Sadie, so he can try to use that to kind of tackle this Jia, because Limbo is actually tapped out now, I believe. However, then what? He's gonna lose to 3 damage. Like, the Snow White is already 1. He just gonna play the Frostborn Paladin that he had the previous turn, or he can just materialize Bulk Sword, and that's going to be 2 damage already.
You know, we could just mastermind scheme.
I suppose we can go from 1 to 2 to 4. That's exponential scaling. We love to see it. But no, it is just going to be the Sadie. It will clear the Snow White, which means Jia isn't going to be able to attack next turn as well. And he will also get the Agility 3 here. I wonder if the Windless Outlook is going to come out. It does. Gets him once again up to 2 preparation counters. One must imagine Silvercrowx happy. He does glimpse 1. I wonder what he saw. We'll put it on either the top or the bottom. Top
okay.
Here.
Must like the card. Maybe it's something that'll help him refill these preparation counters that he is so unfortunately robbed of time and time again.
At the very least, at the end of this turn, he will go up to 3 with the Windwalker boots. And I do see a Veiling Breeze in hand, so he can at least prevent some of the damage here. However, this Jia is still going to be able to attack next turn, because next turn, he has the Lily that was returned to hand with the Ensnaring Fumes.
Yeah, a big thing though is that if there are negates, there is a chance that we could stop this. We could even like use a Song of Frost to stop the Veiling Beast from resolving. And then the more cards you put down, the more the Sadie is a threat of dying as well.
I want to highlight that Silvercrowx actually has 3 Norm cards in his hand. So that Veiling Breeze is actually doing very little work. I'm going to assume that the 2 cards in memory are going to be Wind Elements. So at the very least, he does protect himself from most of the attacks this turn. But that means Sadie and that Windblast Outlook are going to be going away for a long, long time. Lily is probably going to come down now. We do see him put down 4. And if Lily attacks into either the Sadie or the Windblast Outlook, we'll be able to get that 1 card back into hand from the memory.
Windblast Outlook is actually 3.
Oh, you're right. So, Sadie only.
So that means we're actually going to have to throw the Sadie preemptively here if we don't want to risk the Lily trigger coming out.
Blinding Orb.
Freezing Hail! 2 damage.
Veiling Breeze?
Forces the Veiling Breeze here.
Here is the caveman talk part of the stream where we only say the card names and nothing else. We'll see what Silvercrowx responds to for this Freezing Hail. Let's remind you of the stack. Lily, Blinding Orb, Freezing Hail, now Veiling Breeze on top of that. So Veiling Breeze reveals only 2 win cards. So actually, Jia will be able to do 1 damage at least. This Freezing Hail does whiff. However, Lily will be able to deal 1 damage to the board. So I wonder if we're going to see the Sadie get attacked or we're going to see the Windblast Outlook get attacked instead.
Well, if we don't return the Sadie now, we can just go Lily immediately. As soon as the stack resolves, we can just swing with Lily, immediately get a card back in the hand. Probably not too useful considering the fact that there's nothing we could really play with no cards left. We could also just kill this Windbless. I think we just got to clear the board, clear the way. Eventually, we will get there. There's really not too much threat of dying here. Servile Possessions only has, I think, 0. Yeah, 0. Yeah. He actually did not Omen the previous turn. He could have, but I maybe have forgotten to Omen here.
Yeah, I'm thinking Limbo for Gore. I think he forgot to put a card into his Omens with his Mastery. Probably just a little oopsie on his part. Does Lily still let him get the 1 card in memory, even when CD gets bounced back? So he will be able to do that. And now we see the Freezing Hail put back into the Omens next turn. Manjone, we're going to shoot you for 2. With this Freezing Hail, you are going to stay locked.
Yeah, Limbo doesn't play anything like Nullifying Mirror, so no threat there. But yeah, Maxome Freezing Hail would be enough unless there's a second Veiling Breeze or maybe an Incapacitate to stop it.
I want to ask, right? So Freezing Hail, for the viewers at home, when it deals two damage to target unit, and also that unit doesn't wake up during its controller's next wake up
Yes,
phase.
that's right. So this Tristan should actually not be waking up here.
However, the damage was prevented by Veiling Breeze. In that case, does Tristan get to wake up or not?
No, she still, it doesn't matter. Just like with Stifling Trap, stopping the damage doesn't stop the effect from actually going off, which means this Tristan's going to stay here, which means, oh, okay, you're that one slice and dice in your hand, not going to do anything. Any Shadow Strikes, not going to do anything.
And I think Silvercrowx is really struggling to find out what he wants to do. If everything does nothing, then what can he do moving forward? He only has these 4 cards left in his material deck. Hasn't been able to call the Shadow's Claw out for free because he's always been climbing the prep ladder back up. Now we see him maybe go for the Assassin's Ripper or the Safeguard Amulet here. Will prevent him from dying to the Freezing Hail that Limbo just put into his Omen. But then what about the Jiaying? What about the Lily? How is he going to get rid of those two? And not to mention the Mage Bane Lash is just going to come in for 2 anyway. How is Silvercrowx going to respond? I don't see a good response at all in his hand. There is a Tempest Downfall. There is an Ascent Protector, which he can, I guess, develop to have the Intercept. But there's enough damage on board such that he can Limbo can finish the game even through this Ascent Protector. So here is the Sadie that's going to come down. Maybe we're going to see 3 damage into the Jiaying.
Remember
Jiaying Stealth. Oh no.
Stealth. We're forgetting about it. Unique ally on board.
So we have to go get rid of the Lily first, but we can't, I think. We do have to force something like the Tempest Downfall in order to get rid of Lily.
We also have the
Sadie.
Ascent. We have the Ascent, so we could go swing one with the Lookout and then Ascent it back to hand, kill the Lily, but then
no agility tree. So
no agility.
We'd probably see Wind Blast go into phase for 1, and then after that, Ascent return the Wind Blast, swing tree into Lily, and then Sadie swing into Lily to get the agility tree on kill. Limbo doesn't have anything to respond with right now. He's out of cards in hand, but you can't respond to Weapon Swing right now because you don't have any shadows. I think the one turning point in this game is Silvercrowx not thinking to Ensnaring Fuse on the stack of his level 3 on enter, so he could return all of the allies and then still have the shadows on the board.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, is it really valuable to have shadows when you have no prep at the same time, right?
I mean, you can't get the shadows back, but you can get prep back. So I think it would have been a better play still. Maybe he just didn't consider like how much damage was coming in from Limbo at that point. And at this stage of the day, it is 9th round of Swiss. Everybody is tired. I'm sure that you may not consider some lines of play. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I could have done that. But at the same time, it's like, would I have really done that if I were in that position? Of course, I can say that because I see everything right now, but I think Silvercrowx has already been pummeled by all of these different allies already, so he's already having a little bit of a struggle. So here's the Ascent Protector coming down, instead just being used as an ally and intercept. And here is the Manjom. Like we mentioned, Limbo brings out the cupboard. I want to see the skeletons in those closets. I think it's just going to be the Freezing Hail that does come out anyway, but we're going to see how he decides to get rid of this Ascent Protector. We have the Lily. We can use it to get one of the cards back in memory, back to hand, and then we also have the Jiaying to finish the Ascent off. So here's 2 damage from Frostwalk.
Face as well. So this is going to be Ascent. We got to return a card, and then that's a Trapper as well, and then Jiaying should be able to finish this game off unless that's anything. There's nothing.
The fist bump. It's so Limbo. There we go. Limbo makes it to day 2. CPR Pendragon, and if he manages to win all the way, maybe even a Brisa Spirit of Wind, he is also super ecstatic to have won that game. I am sure. I think Limbo is going to be really happy with that one. I think he's showing it on stream as well, but maybe we should get the camera off of his face.
You know, Limbo is... There's a reason why he has the second highest viewed GA clip on the official channel. It's because the guy is just so animated. I love to watch Limbo games because even when whether he's winning or losing, he's always making it entertaining for everyone, right?
Yeah, Limbo is a tier 1 clip farmer. He loves
absolutely.
Clip farming. I really enjoy watching him. I think it's going to be really fun to see more of him on day 2. I really hope that we get to see as many games as possible of this Nico Ciel deck. And I really wish we were able to see the Nico mode of the deck as well, because I think it would be really interesting to see like what the difference is in the playstyle, because I mean, not counting the one Omen that we forgot to put on. I'm sure Nico also has its own benefits, being able to mill. Other than that, of course, the Mage Bane Lash will be able to generate more damage on the Mage Bane Lash swing as well. A little bit faster in comparison, technically.
You actually wouldn't, because Nico 1, I don't think has the lash counters come from Nico 2, actually. So Nico 1 doesn't give you that. So it's really... Nico 1, I think, is literally just so you can have Mage Bane Lash.
Yeah.
Or also, alternatively... Actually, no, that's literally all.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, it's for the burn matchups.
Yes,
it's for Suzaku.
for burns.
So once you're against Suzaku, you go to Nico, call the Mage Bane Lash, and then suddenly Suzaku prep generation like slows to a halt. So I understand it now. I understand it now, guys. I understand it now, chat. I'm awakened. It's the last day. It's the last game of the day, and I'm finally woken up. But Flon, what do you think we're gonna see a lot more of on day 2, other than Limbo, of course?
Well, I don't think we can see the standings yet, but at least from everything I've seen in the previous rounds, it's a lot of fire and a lot of wind Guojas. So those are some pretty nasty decks to fight against, especially for allies. It's like, okay, the Rile decks get to rile me, and then the Guojas, it's like, oh, I can't get around 12 health Seiryu.
Yeah,
Dream Fairy though.
That
Dream Fairy is an option. Snow Fairy, we can double Snow Fairy it, maybe.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
There
That's
are
gonna
ways
be
around
good.
it.
Yeah, I think Seiryu and Suzaku are surprisingly, despite being like probably the most represented decks, we haven't seen any on stream yet, right?
Yes, no Seiryus and no Suzakus somehow. You know, we're saving it for tomorrow,
Yes,
right? So-
production is going to be like, okay, here you can all have all of the jank rogue decks so that tomorrow, when every game is a meta mirror matchup, you guys won't be too bored. And we appreciate the thought.
Yeah, but you know, if there's any, maybe the Water Neos deck made it, and then of course you have Limbo and the Water. We just have like a couple funny decks in there that I think everyone's gonna be cheering for because we all want to see Ryle get dethroned a little bit, or maybe you actually want Ryle to win.
Yeah.
To try like, you gotta ban it. You gotta ban it because there's eight Ryle decks in top 8. You gotta ban it.
This is the psyop, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want Rao to win so that it gets banned, or do we want Rao to not win so that people think like, okay, it's fine. Rao is fine, guys. We don't need to ban it.
Ryle
But,
is fine, just like Crux is fine, right? It's like it has counters.
yeah, I mean,
Just counter it.
Crux uses Rao. Crux gets to draw 2. Rao gets you to draw 2. I mean,
So what you're telling me is that Crux is now double fine because it's Ryle fine and Crux fine at the same time. Merlin is also fine. So I don't know. Maybe we're getting to the point where we're fine and we're actually now good.
you're right. Crux is good, guys.
Crux is good.
Crux is good.
Crux
We
is
solved
good.
the meta. Let's go. I guess we are gonna be going to Limbo's interview really, really soon. I'm really excited to hear more from him. Unfortunately, we are gonna have to go through a translator. Limbo's English still a little bit can be worked on, although he is super entertaining just with his mannerisms. I'm really looking forward to hear more.
That's
from
the thing.
him
I don't
soon.
need to understand what he's saying. I understand it on a spiritual level,
Yeah.
just based on the way he looks. I'm like, I can tell everything from his facial expression.
Yes, Limbo is not a language, Limbo is a vibe. And I think we're going to learn a little bit more about that vibe very, very soon. That being said, it's been a really long 9 rounds of Ascent Taipei Day 1. We are going to be wrapping it up very, very soon. Thank you so much to everyone at home, whether you're in the venue, whether you're watching from the toilet in the venue, or whether you're watching at home. I would really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Flon and I are going to pass it over to the Limbo interview right now. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello guys, we're here with Limbo. They just won his really, really tiring game of round. Now, how are you feeling right now after that tiring game?
I'm really tired. really tired.
No translation needed.
No translation.
I need translation. Oh,
So,
my face is like. Oh,
so how do you feel staggering striking your opponent twice, knowing as a Tristan, right?
Staggering strike 对面了这么多次，感觉爽吗
oh, 気持ちいいぜ。
He says it feels awesome. So,
Yep.
so great.
Oh, so good.
Amazing trade. But besides that, what's your take on the meta right now? Considering that you yourself are playing such a unique deck, Ciel Guardian, right? So what's your take on the meta?
那这次你选择用水枭ally 嘛，然后你为什么会选这个卡组？然后对于现在的那个环境，你感觉如何？
Because I think the RBs, the ghost draw, you know, Looming Guy and the Family Member is too powerful. So I want the tender sensor can defend them, and heavy swing is so good.
Everything's very good.
Yes,
Yeah.
heavy swing. Oh, heavy swing. And Snow White, he cannot. Maybe he have a reach, but he cannot live up. Oh yeah.
So no Arisana?
I hope I want to play Alisana, but he cannot. I tried 2 weeks, but I can't win anymore. So I don't want my wife be hurt. I want to protect my wife. So I just okay. Still, if you lose, his guy is dying. It's okay.
Protect your wife.
Yeah, protect my wife.
Protect
Yes.
your wife. Protect your wife. So what's your confidence going into day 2 now that you actually make it?
那今天就已经确定 day 2了嘛？感觉有信心吗？明天？
我希望每天遇到I hope tomorrow is all the level 3 fire deck. I can use all the Snow White tap.
You heard it, folks. He just wants to be level 3 deck.
He's coming for you.
Coming for you, level 3 decks. So, once again, congratulations, Limbo. Good luck for day 2. Thank you for all the interview. And that's it, folks, from us from today. I believe it will be the end of the stream. We'll see you guys tomorrow.